Hi, I'm Mrs. Charles with Kids in the Kitchen. Most people use recipes when they bake and cook, and most recipes have been tested so that the end product turns out to taste great. Cooking, especially baking, is like science, and in science, being accurate and exact is always important. So when you bake using a recipe, you need to measure ingredients carefully and expertly. Expert measuring will help whatever you're making turn out better, and more importantly, it'll taste great. I'm going to show you how to measure ingredients using a dry measuring cup, a wet measuring cup, one's plastic and one's glass, and measuring spoons. These are my measuring spoons. They go from smallest to largest in size. First one is 1/4 teaspoon. Next one's 1/2 teaspoon. And then we have 1 teaspoon. Then we have 1/2 tablespoon. And the last one is a tablespoon. Now I'm going to show you how to measure some salt and some baking soda. It will be easier for you to work with these spoons if you take this part, if you open it up and take these out. And you can use the spoons one at a time. You always want to put a bowl down so that when you're measuring, and if you spill, it'll go into the bowl and it'll help with cleanup. I use a sink at home too, instead of a bowl, so whatever is best for you. So here's some salt. And I'm going to pour it into, I'm using 1 teaspoon here. Pour it in. See, I did spill a little, and you want to make sure that it's level. You can take this to make sure it's level. So there you have 1 teaspoon of salt, expertly measured. All right, now I'm going to show you how to do baking soda because you use that a lot in baking. So dip your spoon in, see how much extra I have? Use the part of the box to flatten it on the top so that you know you have exactly 1 teaspoon. Vanilla is also used a lot in baking, so this is how you pour. Whoopsie, I spilled a little, and you don't want that extra going into your recipe. So now I have a perfectly level liquid in my measuring spoon. When you need to measure a thick liquid like Caro syrup or molasses or honey, you take your measuring spoon and spray just a touch of Pam in it. Okay, then you pour Caro syrup in till it reaches the top. Then when you pour it out, it comes out of your spoon easier and you get the full amount instead of some of it being left on the bottom. Okay, these dry measuring cups are also from smallest to largest. We have a 2 tablespoon coffee one, 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup, 1/2 cup, and then a whole cup. And then it's easier to use if you separate them. So all you do is take this apart and now they're separated. I'm going to show you how to measure flour first. Flour is a dry ingredient, so you use your dry measuring cup. First, you're supposed to stir your flour, then take your measuring cup, dip it in, and then you'll have too much, so you want to take your knife and level it so that you have the perfect amount of flour. Okay, now I'm going to pour sugar into my measuring cup. I use the bowl underneath in case some spills, which it really does. And again, I'm gonna use my knife to make it a perfect, in this case, 1/4 cup. Now I'm going to show you how to do brown sugar, which is a dry ingredient, but it's a lot wetter than regular sugar. So I've poured some in my measuring cup. Now I need to spoon out some more because I didn't get it filled and I don't want to make a big mess. So put the sugar in, and then because it's moist, you need to press it down with a spoon. And now it's pressed down. You can see I need to add a little more because it's not exactly to the top of the cup. Okay, and maybe even just a touch more. Okay, that is how you measure brown sugar. So and this is a half a cup. I have two measuring cups in front of me. One is made of plastic and one is made of glass. They both have pour spouts and handles, and they both have the measuring things on the side. We have 1 cup. These are both 1 cup measuring cups. We have 3/4 a cup, 2/3 of a cup, half of a cup, 1/3 of a cup, and 1/4 of a cup. Quarter, of course, is the smallest, and it goes up all the way to 1 cup. And the same can be said for the glass cup. We use the glass cup when you want to microwave something. It's especially good to microwave chocolate chips in this. Okay, I'm going to measure water, so I'll pour some water in. And I'm going to try and hit the half cup. So in order, I think that's about a half a cup, but I have to actually get down and look at eye level to make sure it's exactly 1/2 of a cup. If you don't get down and look, then it might not be accurate. Now I want to measure a half a cup of vegetable oil, which is used a lot in recipes. So again, it's a liquid. I have to pour it in. And then I will need to put my face down, make sure it's exactly at a half a cup, which it is. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and that when you try your hand at following a recipe, you'll know how to expertly measure with wet and dry measuring cups and measuring spoons. Happy baking! We'll see you next time with another kitchen tool and directions on how to use it. Now when you're measuring sugar, you take your dry measuring cup. You can dip it in like this, or if you might need to pour it. So that's why you use the bowl underneath, so there's not a problem with spillage. And then you can shake it, make sure it's level. Looks like I need to add just a touch more.